every time I went out the garage, my tires were, for some reason, uh, below on temperature. So every
Guys, what a crazy weekend at the Canadian Grand Prix! Lewis Hamilton left the track furious, saying this was one of the worst races of his career. What happened to the seven-time world champion? Tire issues, qualifying errors, and a race full of ups and downs. Lewis Hamilton started the weekend in Canada with a promising performance in the free practice sessions, leading the final practice session on Saturday. The Mercedes car seemed to have found a good rhythm with the recent upgrades. However, problems began in qualifying, where Hamilton struggled with tire temperature, resulting in a disappointing seventh-place start. During the race, Hamilton faced additional difficulties. He spent much of the time stuck behind Fernando Alonso's Aston Martin, preventing any significant recovery. Even with an aggressive pit stop strategy during the safety car, Hamilton could only finish in fourth place after an intense battle with his teammate, George Russell, who took the upper hand on the penultimate lap. The combination of qualifying issues and difficulties in overtaking Alonso meant that Hamilton couldn't maximize the car's potential during the race. He expressed frustration after the race, calling the weekend one of the worst of his career. Hamilton still believes that if he had qualified better, he could have fought for the win. This race shows how small problems can have significant consequences in Formula One. One of the main factors affecting Hamilton's performance at the Canadian GP was the difficulty with tire temperature during qualifying. Hamilton mentioned that upon leaving the garage, his tires were consistently below the ideal temperature, significantly compromising his performance. On a track where grip is crucial, having cold tires can make all the difference between a good lap and a disappointing qualifying. The problem seems to be related to the tire blankets, which did not heat the compounds properly. Hamilton explained that each set of tires was 2 or 3 degrees below the necessary temperature, and he couldn't recover that difference during the warm-up lap. This basic failure is frustrating, especially in a sport where technical details are so important. This temperature issue is not new for Hamilton in 2024, but this time it cost him dearly. The impact was direct. Starting in seventh place, he spent much of the race behind Alonso, unable to extract the maximum from the car in the early stages of the race. To avoid similar problems in the future, Mercedes needs to investigate the exact cause of this failure and ensure the tire blankets are functioning perfectly. It's essential to maximize performance in the upcoming races and give Hamilton a real chance to fight for the podium. During the Canadian Grand Prix, Mercedes' race strategy was a critical point for Lewis Hamilton's performance. Starting from a difficult seventh position, the team needed to adopt an aggressive approach to try and recover positions. The first part of the race was marked by Hamilton's struggle to overtake Fernando Alonso. Being stuck behind the Spaniard cost valuable time, but Mercedes decided to take advantage of the safety car to change strategy. Hamilton and Russell pitted for new tires, a decision that seemed promising. However, the internal battle between the two Mercedes drivers was intense. Hamilton showed good pace after the pit stop, but Russell managed to come out on top on the penultimate lap, securing third place. This internal battle highlighted both the competitiveness between the two drivers and the importance of a well-executed strategy. If Mercedes had achieved a better qualifying result for Hamilton, the race could have been different. The pit stop strategy under the safety car was correct, but execution and small details during the race, such as the fight to overtake Alonso, ended up being decisive. For the upcoming races, the team needs to ensure that both drivers have equal conditions to fight for the podium, minimizing errors and optimizing the race strategy. Every decision counts, and the battle between Hamilton and Russell is a constant reminder that internal competition can be both an asset and a challenge. Despite the challenges faced at the Canadian Grand Prix, there was a positive side: the performance of the updated Mercedes car. The improvements made to the W15 showed promising results, especially during the free practice sessions, where Hamilton led the final session on Saturday. These updates indicate that Mercedes is on the right path to becoming competitive at the top of the grid again. The car showed strong pace, and if not for the qualifying issues, Hamilton believes he could have fought for the win. This is a good sign for the team, which has faced difficulties in recent seasons. However, there are still areas to improve. The tire temperature issue is a clear example of a problem that needs to be resolved to maximize the car's potential. Additionally, Mercedes must continue to work on race strategy to avoid small mistakes that can compromise the final result. Looking ahead, the car's progress is a reason for optimism for the team. If they can solve the specific problems and continue to develop the W15, Mercedes can become a serious contender for wins in the upcoming races. The key will be to maintain consistency and avoid errors that could be costly. With the Canadian Grand Prix leaving a bittersweet taste, the prospects for the rest of the season are still promising for Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. Despite the difficulties, the performance of the updated car and the competitiveness shown during the race are positive signs. Currently, Hamilton is in 8th place in the Drivers' Championship, 14 points behind his teammate George Russell. This puts additional pressure on Hamilton to improve his performances in the upcoming races. The internal battle between the two Mercedes drivers will be crucial, not only for the individual championship, but also for the team's position in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes is in 4th place in the Constructors' Championship, behind McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull. To move up in the standings, the team needs to maximize points in each race and avoid the mistakes that cost positions in previous races. Continuous development of the W15 will be vital for this mission. The upcoming races offer an opportunity for Mercedes to consolidate its progress. Circuits like Silverstone and Monza, where engine power and aerodynamics are crucial, might be more favorable to the Mercedes car. Additionally, the team needs to keep optimizing race strategy, ensuring both drivers have the best chance possible to achieve good results. For Hamilton, the focus will be on regaining confidence and showing the consistency that made him a 7-time world champion. After analyzing the entire weekend of the Canadian Grand Prix, it is evident that Lewis Hamilton's performance was affected by a series of factors that could have been avoided. As a fan and follower of Formula One, it is frustrating to see a driver of Hamilton's caliber face such basic issues like tire temperature. However, this also shows how Formula One is a sport of details, where each small variable can make a significant difference. Looking ahead, Mercedes has a clear path to improvement. The upgrades to the car are promising, and if the team can solve the qualifying issues and continue optimizing their race strategies, there is a good chance we will see Hamilton and Russell fighting at the top again. The competitiveness between the two drivers can be an asset for the team, as long as it is managed correctly. It is important to remember that we are only halfway through the season, and a lot can change. Hamilton has the experience and skill to turn things around, and Mercedes has the resources to keep developing the car. The championship is still open, and every race will be crucial from now on. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of Hamilton's performance in Canada? Do you think he can turn things around in the upcoming races? Leave your opinions in the comments. And of course, if you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all things Formula One. See you next time.